It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of freedomin5minutes.com, prosulum.com, prosulum.com, and now Legion 4.business. That's crazy. That's a weird URL. But anyway, welcome to the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Today's topic is this: putting yourself out there brings great rewards. That and more coming up. Oh, good morning. It's a nice chilly day over here. Not so beautiful. We've got the smoke from the California fires all over the place, but I'm outside with my beautiful dog doing our thing, and it's been pretty awesome. But ultimately, things are going great. Things are going pretty well. So over the last few weeks, my buddy Paul and I were doing some WeWork talks. We were doing some talks at WeWork down in Southern California. And it was a bit rocky for the both of us in the first couple ones we did. We really wanted to redo and hammer home our presentation. But the last two that we did, we knocked it out of the park. It went really, really well in a number of ways. And how do you judge when things kind of went well? Well, so it was cool. So the two latest talks, one was in Irvine, one was in Newport Beach. We went there, and the community managers at WeWork are absolutely amazing. Seriously, like in Irvine, Caroline was the main one over there, and then Kirsten was the main one over in Newport Beach, which they had just opened up, called Bayview over there. And man, it was interesting. Just they are just really cool people, always welcoming. They try their hardest to make you feel, not just you feel comfortable, but for everybody else feel comfortable as well. And it was cool. So the prior talks, we didn't structure our talk very well. And it was okay because it was the first two. I mean, part of the thing is, if you're going to fail at all, it's better to fail in front of 20 people than it is in front of thousands of people, right? But this time around, I really wanted to share this one story that was on my heart about why I do what I do, and it has to do. I'm not going to ruin it for you, just in case you ever see my story, part of my story when it comes to this stuff. But it has to do with me being overseas and one of my daughters and a medical condition. And so I started off with that story. And throughout that, it kind of framed the entire talk. So for the second and third, for the last two talks, it really framed that talk. And it was interesting because, we go into these business things, and we think that we just want to know the next big technique and this strategy and that. But what really happens a lot of the times at these talks, especially if you're getting them, if you have this personal connection, that's what people long for. And so one of the ways that I knew it went really, really well was people really resonated with the story. People really resonated with what happened while I was overseas. And it was cool because we didn't really make a ton of sales like right then and there, but people wanted to talk. They set up a whole bunch of appointments. We made a couple sales and things like that, which was cool afterward. And which I don't think would have happened. Literally people sought us out after the fact. Of course, we got names and emails and things like that. But ultimately, people sought us out after, and it was such a beautiful thing because you can tell that they really had really struck a chord. And it's one of those things where I'm sure there are people who are like, who cares? I don't care, like, who completely did not relate to anything I was saying, any of the stories that I was sharing, and so on. But the ones who did relate, really, we had a good connection. It was so fun talking with them and sharing and helping. And so why is this important? It's important because one of the big decisions that you can make, one of the big strategies you can do is actually be real with yourself. I have a really hard time doing this because I think, especially in business, I think that people are going to find my family or my personal ideas or whatever it might be, to be kind of like, why, who cares? Like, honestly, who cares, right? And so I don't know why I feel that way, but I always do. I feel like as though nobody's going to want to know anything. And there are people who are going to be like, why are you constantly showing your family? Why are you constantly showing the things you care about? I don't care about this. But then there are going to be those people where they really do resonate and they really do want to see how you live or some personal things about you. And so I just challenge you today. This is something that I've been trying to do a lot more, and it seems to really draw more of a community. Is opening up to your personal life when it comes to your business, and it's of course you don't want to show everything, but I'm being a lot more liberal when it comes to that, and I've noticed that the more that I share who I am truly inside, rather than trying to be a business guru or a time productivity management guru, the more that I do that, the more that more that I open up to who I really am, the more it's affecting other people. And so I just challenge you this week to do that, whether it's through relationships, whether it's if you're doing a presentation or you're doing some kind of business thing or whatever, just become a little bit more personal in a way that is good in context with what you're doing, and see the emotional response that you get. And I'm pretty certain that people are going to be able to connect with you, especially if you have a heart story, if you have a story that really tugs on the heart as to why you're doing what you're doing. So anyway, that is the end of the podcast. I was about to say I love you because I always say that to my wife after phone calls. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day. This is Dean Soto, Freedom in 5 Minutes. Go check out freedomin5minutes.com, and I'll catch you on the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.